Hey everyone, if you or maybe someone you love are navigating a tough diagnosis right now and you're searching for some real, tangible medical hope, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're going to unpack 3 incredibly promising clinical trials that are currently offering brand new horizons for Alzheimer's disease, type 1 diabetes, and breast cancer. And my goal for this explainer is simple. We're going to cut through all that heavy medical jargon and just give you the straight, honest, and hopeful facts about what these treatments actually are, who they're for, and why they matter so much. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the power of phase 3 trials. Second, slowing early Alzheimer's disease. Third, rethinking type 1 diabetes. Fourth, targeting aggressive breast cancer. And we'll wrap up with how you can stay informed and empowered. All right, part 1, the power of phase 3. So, before we look at the specific treatments, let's establish exactly where we are in the scientific process. Because let's be honest, when you're seeking new treatment options, navigating the world of medical research can feel completely overwhelming. But hearing the words phase 3, that should spark a very specific kind of realistic hope. Let me explain why. Think of the drug development process like a really rigorous ladder. Phase 1 is all about basic safety. Phase 2 tests if the drug actually does what it's supposed to do, just on a smaller scale. But a phase 3 trial, that's the crucial final step before a drug reaches the general public. It means the treatment has already shown significant safety and effectiveness in those earlier stages, and now researchers are just confirming it on a large global scale. When a drug hits phase 3, it's the real deal. Moving on to part 2, slowing early Alzheimer's disease, specifically looking at trial NCT04468659. Okay, let's dive right into our first major trial. This study, known as the AHEAD 345 study, is testing a medication called Lecanemab. You see, in Alzheimer's disease, certain proteins called amyloid basically clump together in the brain, and that's directly linked to memory loss and cognitive decline. Well, this trial is testing whether Lecanemab can effectively clear those proteins out. Half the participants get the medication and half get a placebo, which is how researchers know for absolutely sure if the drug is making the difference. Now, what's really fascinating here is who this trial is specifically designed for. We aren't looking at late-stage Alzheimer's. This is for people with early and preclinical Alzheimer's disease. We're talking about folks who might just be starting to show symptoms or who actually have those amyloid proteins in their brain but hadn't even experienced memory loss yet. The whole goal is to intervene early and act almost like a shield, slowing down cognitive decline before it takes away a person's quality of life. To give you a sense of the massive scale of this phase 3 trial, you should know that 1,400 patients are enrolled across 107 different medical sites globally. Right now, the status of this trial is active, not recruiting. All that means is they have all the volunteers they need, and those patients are currently receiving the treatment and being monitored. And here's what's so incredibly encouraging for patients and caregivers everywhere. Independent evaluators gave this trial an 18 out of 20 for breakthrough potential, along with an overall TrialsAlert score of 90 out of 100. It is absolutely a space to watch closely as researchers track these patients over 216 weeks of treatment to see how well it works long-term. All right, part 3, rethinking type 1 diabetes, focusing on trial NCT04786262. Let's shift gears entirely. If you, or maybe a family member, has type 1 diabetes, you already know it is a constant, totally exhausting balancing act of monitoring blood sugar and taking insulin. Well, this trial is testing something fundamentally different. It's called cell therapy. The treatment, VX-880, isn't just another way to inject insulin. It's actually designed to literally replace the missing insulin-producing cells in the patient's body. It's aiming to functionally restore the body's own ability to regulate blood sugar, a real game changer. And this approach is incredibly targeted. It's built specifically for adults dealing with one of the most terrifying realities of type 1 diabetes, impaired hypoglycemic awareness. That happens when your blood sugar drops to dangerous, severe levels, but your body just doesn't give you the warning signs. By replacing those cells, this trial hopes to completely eliminate those severe low blood sugar events and drastically lessen or maybe even remove the dependence on daily insulin injections. It's truly about restoring safety and freedom. Now, because this is such a highly specialized procedure, this is a smaller but deeply significant phase 3 trial. They are actively recruiting 52 patients across 29 sites worldwide. So if you fit the profile we just discussed, this is a trial that is actively looking for participants right now. The scientific community is just incredibly optimistic about this approach. It holds a stellar TrialsAlert score of 89 out of 100, and once again, an 18 out of 20 for breakthrough potential. This really underscores why cell replacement could be a life-altering turning point for endocrinology, and most importantly, for the patients who live with this disease every single day. Part 4. Targeting aggressive breast cancer. This is trial NCT 06966700. Finally, let's explore a really powerful new tool in the fight against early-stage, high-risk breast cancer. The science here is fascinating. When we think of traditional cancer treatments, we usually think of chemotherapy, right? Which can be incredibly tough on the whole body. But this study tests a new targeted therapy called sacituzumab tirumotecan. Think of it like a biological GPS. It's designed to seek out and attach directly to the cancer cells, delivering a really potent dose of medication exactly where it's needed while sparing more of your healthy cells. In this trial, it's being combined with a well-known immunotherapy drug called pembrolizumab, plus traditional chemotherapy to hit the cancer harder and a whole lot smarter. The crucial takeaway here is identifying exactly who this is built to help. This is specifically for patients facing particularly aggressive forms of the disease, namely high-risk, early-stage triple-negative breast cancer or HR-low /HR2-negative breast cancer. These are types of cancer that typically grow faster and just have fewer treatment options. The goal here is simple but profound: aggressively reduce the cancer cells in the tumors and lymph nodes so patients can live much longer without the cancer ever progressing or returning. If you are facing this diagnosis, please hear me when I say, you are not alone in this fight. This is a massive Phase 3 study, actively recruiting 2,400 participants across an astounding 268 global sites right now. The medical community is throwing serious resources at this specific problem. And just like our other 2 trials, this oncology study is rated exceptionally high. It's got an 18 out of 20 breakthrough potential and a 90 out of 100 overall score. It truly has the potential to completely rewrite the standard of care for the patients who need aggressive, smart interventions the most. And finally, Part 5, staying informed and empowered. Let's talk about your action plan. We've covered a lot of advanced science today: clearing brain proteins, replacing missing cells, using biological GPS to fight cancer. So let's wrap up with how you actually use this. First, bookmark clinicaltrials.gov. It is the absolute master database for all of this research. Second, use the specific NCT numbers I've given you today, like NCT 06966700 for the breast cancer trial, to search for exactly what you need. Take these exact trial names, write them down, and start a direct, informed conversation with your medical team. Ask them point blank, is this right for me? Am I eligible? And finally, join patient advocacy groups. They are incredible resources for staying up to date on what's coming down the pipeline. Because here's the thing, when we look at Phase 3 trials, we aren't looking at science fiction, we are looking at the very near future of medicine. Keep that hopeful reality in mind as you advocate for yourself or the people you love. With science moving this unbelievably fast, if these are the breakthroughs happening today, what could your treatment options look like tomorrow? The horizon really is bright. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the future of medicine. Stay hopeful, stay informed, and I'll catch you next time.